Hey everyone, it's Dave with Alaskan Homesteading. We decided to take a backpacking trip up to the Crow Pass cabin, and we knew that it was going to be some fairly poor weather on Thursday. Thought it was actually going to be worse than this, but so far, lots and lots of wind and some rain. The area is beautiful though. If you're ever looking for a pretty easy backpack, it's 3 miles from the trailhead in Girdwood to get up here. And yeah, it's steep. You do about almost 2,000 feet of elevation in 3 miles, but it's totally manageable. We did it with 60-pound packs. We were carrying up a lot of stuff because we wanted to make sure we were warm and prepared for the weather. But today we're just spending the day in the cabin reading, playing cards, and so on. While we wait for the weather to clear. Supposedly tomorrow it should be a little bit better. We'll see how it goes. Stovetop stuffing with chicken. Well, despite the awful weather, we're going to go out and get some time away from the cabin. It gets a little boring in there. I mean, we've got cards and I've got a couple of videos downloaded on my phone, but we're up here to explore. So we're going to go out and walk into the fog and see what we see. This is the little creek crossing that everybody uses to get to the Crow Pass cabin. It's actually pretty good. There's plenty of rocks, and you can definitely cross it without getting your feet wet. You just have to be careful because the rocks do get slippery when it is raining, like it is today. My partner there is doing some trail maintenance on the crossing, adding a few extra rocks. Hopefully that'll help. There's a nice little clear stream that runs across the trail to the cabin. If you're ever staying here, I highly recommend getting water from this stream, as it is nice and clear. The water in the lake and coming from the little outlet of the lake is very silty and would be very hard on any water filtration systems. So this water is really nice. So after our hike we came back, lit up the stove, and now we're drying our gloves, which I don't know if you can see it in this video, but they are steaming because it was pouring sideways out there. But the stove is pretty nice. Well, the weather started to sort of clear a bit. Now it's just super windy. Clouds are lifting some, and the rain has pretty much abated. This is Thursday evening. Still bitterly cold with the wind going. But beautiful place to be. Well, after yesterday's terrible weather, we decided today would be a great day to get out and go for a nice walk. It's a little breezy and cool, but at least it's not a downpour. So we're out exploring, going up to the pass from the cabin, and yeah, it's pretty nice so far. It's a beautiful place. This is just up at the top. Not quite at the pass, but there's a nice little wet area, and there's a marked campsite up here too. That I guess there's a bear box up over the hill behind me. There's a few bear boxes out here for tent campers, which is a nice thing. Even if you're not worried about bears up the pass, which in theory anyway you're supposed to be, they can come up here. There's a lot of varmints, there's little ground squirrels and stuff, and I'm sure there's rodents, so keeping your food put away in a hard-sided container out here is a good idea regardless. Well, here we are, Crow Pass summit, 3,500 feet. And off to the right, Glacier. Lots of wind up here. And last night, we got a little bit of fresh snow west of the peaks. Fall is definitely here and summer is over. I don't care what the calendar says. It sure is beautiful. One of the aforementioned varmints. These little ground squirrel things are all over the place up here. I guess they're trying to get fed for winter too. The section of trail that we're on here at the bottom of the glacier appears to be what must have been the terminal moraine at one point. And you're kind of walking along a ridge on the top of the moraine as you go past the glacier. It's a really spectacular view. That's just awesome. I think I changed my mind about this ridge that you walk on as you pass the glacier. I think that it is actually an old lateral moraine, because I think the glacier probably came down the valley and swept around this corner and left this ridge along the side of its travel, with the terminal moraine being, somewhere down there where it's all rocky. Went down about 1.5 miles from the cabin. I think we're gonna call this the end of our day hike today. The weather is starting to turn a little bit, getting a little bit of snow, and I think we're just gonna get back to the cabin and have a nice hot lunch there and then do some more exploring nearby. Well, I came back to the cabin, had lunch. Now I'm standing outside enjoying a little breeze, a little rain, a little snow, and I just saw this big group of stalwart individuals heading up the trail. I guess they're going to go up and look at Raven Glacier and turn around and come back. That's what a lot of people seem to be doing. It's only 0.2 of a mile past the cabin here, so it's a very easy walk if you get up here. Well, the weather definitely took a slightly unexpected turn. The forecast hadn't really called for snow so much, but the dust is definitely coming down lower and lower. It's been kind of a wintry mix today, and our afternoon second hike is sort of canceled for today. I think we're gonna just try to relax inside now. Well, it snowed a little more last night. It is now Saturday morning, and we are packed up and pretty much ready to go. Give you a quick little tour of the inside. So when you come in, first on the right, there's a nice little table area with a tile top. Good spot to do food prep. There's a few little miscellaneous items left behind by other visitors, some cards, coffee, rubbing alcohol, some toilet paper. I would definitely advise bringing some of your own toilet paper. The stuff that's here tends to be a little damp, and the way you dispose of it in the outhouse is to burn it, so you want to make sure you have dry paper to burn and a good lighter. We're leaving behind our lighter because why not? It's always good to have another way to make fire up here. Turning this way, there's the dining table with a couple of benches you can move. Pretty good sized table. There's a lot of these hooks around, so good places to hang clothes for drying. On this side, there's bunks. So this lower one, you could probably squeeze in 2 people. This upper one is probably one person. And that other one over there, you could probably squeeze in 2 people as well. There's a nice loft up here, which is very spacious. And if you're short like I am, you can stand up in it. I'm only 5'8". Yeah, you couldn't be, but maybe a few inches taller than me and still stand up here. The stovepipe comes through and it gets nice and toasty warm up here. Very comfortable for sleeping with the, if you've been using the stove. And of course you get some nice views when there's not fog. There is a binder here with all the instructions for things, some trail information. This explains how to use the stove. It is quite simple. The only thing that can really go wrong that I can figure out is if you have the valves closed or if you don't flip the reset switch. There's a little silver switch on the side with a little round hole in it. To get the fuel started flowing, you have to flip that up and back down, and it'll allow the fuel to flow. So there's some information in here, and there's some maps of the area. Out back, you have the kerosene tank. This lid just unscrews. You pour your kerosene in here and make sure this valve is on. So with the handle in line with the pipe, that's on. This is a fuel water separator, and it looks like people have done a pretty good job of not letting water get in here. If there was water, you would see it gathered in the bottom, and you could turn this little petcock to drain off any water, but you really shouldn't have to mess with any of that. There's another one of these valves inside behind the stove. Just make sure, once again, that that's turned in line with the pipe, and that will allow the fuel to flow. You will notice as the fuel level gets very, very low in the bottom that even on a higher setting, the stove won't run very well. So you'll have to make sure to keep the fuel level topped up. I think there's just not enough pressure from it when the fuel is down kind of in the last, half a centimeter of fuel level in the bottom of the tank. So if it starts getting low and you keep turning it up and it's not getting any warmer, then just go outside and take a look and add some fuel. All right, well, cabin's all clean and ready for the next guest. Cool place to stay. Definitely recommend it. You got to work hard for the reservation, though. All right, well, that's really, I think, all I have for you on this trip. We're getting packed up. We're going to be heading out of here in just a couple of more minutes and take a nice leisurely stroll 3 miles back down to our car. Hopefully you enjoyed this and got a little something out of it. Hopefully this is useful information for people who might come and visit the Crow Pass cabin. At any rate, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.